The people of Egypt and Pakistan are the latest of those facing a full-on currency collapse. While central planners continue to destroy their currency and the lives of their people, sometimes they say it takes the darkness to bring about the light. And in Egypt and Pakistan, they seem to be finding the bright orange light that is Bitcoin to escape tyranny and state theft of their future. Let's begin in Egypt. Egypt is in trouble. $9.5 billion worth of goods were stuck at ports in December, the government announced, due to the shortage of dollars. Some 45% of government revenue now goes towards debt servicing, while inflation continues to be in an uptrend, rising above 21% last month. Their currency, the Egyptian pound, has plunged 50%, with the black market rate being even higher. Strict capital controls means you can barely withdraw more than $100 a month outside of the country. All that makes Egypt fertile ground for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin has been banned at the government level. A Bitcoiner was even arrested in 2021 for promoting Bitcoin on social media. That is, for a tweet. Egypt is under a military dictatorship with a GDP of $404 billion. Its 109 million population, however, is thought to have about 2 million Bitcoin and other crypto users. According to Ahmed Mustafa, a computer science graduate from the American University in Cairo, they tend to use offshore accounts to bypass the prohibition with it. The idea of a decentralized currency and investing in it is a bit like investing in the future. Peer-to-peer volumes appear to be almost non-existent by contrast, with just one Bitcoin passing hands in a whole week on local Bitcoins. Quote, P2P is also a good substitute for those living local looking to invest, but they can't really profit from it here as long as they're in Egypt, says Ahmed. Yet despite this, in 2021, signups on the exchange cex.io spiked, showing Egyptians are getting around the prohibition. That might even be more the case now with the risk of a developing currency crisis, which includes other countries like Tunisia, that has seen its dinar fall to record lows against the dollar. The collapse of Sri Lanka and Lebanon are pointed out as regional examples, with both Egypt and Pakistan being far bigger. Some blame their troubles on government mismanagement, but the fast hike of interest rates in the US might be sucking out liquidity. The dollar shortage could lead to a full-on crisis, with Bitcoin being the one true solution that is globally accessible. It was sort of thriving in Pakistan prior to their ban, with mining in particular seeing an uptick, which would have been a good source of hard money. Their government's bias and short-sightedness, however, might limit the safety cushion and escape valve for their vast population. Only those that have been brave enough to ignore these bans might now have some other way to weather the winds as their governments start going broke. I think Uncle Marty hit on this with Nico and what it means to resist government tyranny. Now, what about Pakistan? Pakistan is a country with a GDP of $350 billion, is running out of money, with it having over $5 billion in foreign reserves, barely enough to cover 1 month of imports. Goods are piling up in ports as buyers are unable to secure dollars to pay for them, with the government trying to secure an IMF loan of $7 billion. That's while inflation runs at 24%, holding steady around that rate since June, despite interest rates increasing to 17% from less than 10% in April. GDP has stagnated in dollar terms, but growth of 4% is shown. The Pakistani rupee, however, has plunged. You need 260 rupees now for a single dollar, down from 230 rupees just on Wednesday, with some analysis suggesting Pakistan is at risk of following Sri Lanka, where a shortage in foreign reserves led to a default. Quote, every day matters now. It's simply not clear what the way out is, said Abid Hassan, a former advisor to the World Bank. Quote, even if they get $1 billion or two to roll over, things are so bad that it's going to be just a Band-Aid at best. Talk about Weimar vibes. An estimate by Chainalysis put their volumes at $20 billion for 2021, ranking it third globally for Bitcoin adoption. Bitcoin, however, has been blockaded in Pakistan. Urdubit, an exchange that claimed to have a third of the quote-unquote crypto market, now says it has shut down due to the State Bank of Pakistan prohibition on dealing with virtual currencies. There are strict capital controls, with it now difficult to ascertain the level of adoption, but if a full-on crisis develops, it is of little question that their people Just as the people in Greece, Turkey, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Argentina, Hong Kong, and Nigeria, they will turn to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the exit valve, and they want to cut it off. They want to control your future, your movement, the media, the military, and the administrative regimes. But most of all, they want to maintain their control on the money printer. We can go all the way back to the Roman Empire and its collapse to see the deterioration of society as the currency debased. Fiat and its effects on society and individual time preference have caused untold suffering and misery in the name of maintaining state control. But the answer is presenting itself, and all who need it can take part and enjoy the benefits and empowerment Bitcoin brings to any individual who opts to control their own destiny and free themselves from the tyranny of fiat. Bitcoin is actually helping people all over the world, not like governments and fake LARPing politicians who make promises while impoverishing their own citizens. Those nations ignoring the impact Bitcoin is having should check their financial privilege, because as these dominoes fall, it's a trickle-up fiat collapse. You just may be next to go the way of the Egyptian pound and the Pakistani rupee. Bitcoin's incentives and monetary superiority will defeat any central planner's solution every time. Ain't no status going to help you. You got to help yourself, and through adopting Bitcoin and sound money, you'll become empowered to do just that. Opt out. If we fix the money, we can fix the world.